The night settles like an old coat laid across the shoulders of the room, heavy and familiar, and I'm looking at you because some stories don't just unfold. They breathe, they pulse, they sit right there in the quiet spaces between what was said and what was never spoken. And when it comes to Charlie and his parents and the slow, steady weight they carried about Erica, well, this story lives in that space. Not the loud space, not the angry space, the quiet one, the one that whispers instead of shouts, the one that aches instead of burns. See, Charlie's parents weren't the kind of folks who rushed to judgment. They weren't the type to glare over glasses or whisper behind walls. They were patient, gentle, observant, the kind of people who could sit through a storm without moving a muscle, just listening to the thunder speak. And Erika, well, she walked into their world like a breeze that didn't match the season. Soft, polite, warm on the surface, but underneath, there was a chill, a distance, a drifting. It started subtly, the way all true tensions do. The first time she came to their home, she smiled wide, but her eyes didn't settle. They moved, scanning, measuring, as if she was walking through a room that didn't quite belong to her. She laughed at the right moments, complimented the food, folded her napkin neatly, but never once did she sink into the chair like someone who planned on staying. She held herself like a visitor in her own life, and Charlie's mother noticed it first. Mothers always do, the way Erika glanced at the clock every few minutes, the way her hands stayed clasped even when she laughed, the way she nodded instead of listening, agreed instead of connecting. It wasn't rude, it wasn't wrong, it was just empty, a presence without depth. Charlie didn't see it, bless his heart. He was swept up in the excitement, the newness, the spark. He'd talk to his parents afterward, eyes bright, voice fast, telling them how Erika understood him, how she shared his ambitions, how she matched his drive. And they listened, smiling, nodding, letting him have that moment. But when he left the room, when the door clicked shut behind him, the house would settle into a silence that said everything they couldn't. His father would let out a slow sigh. His mother would rub her thumb along the rim of her teacup, and neither of them would speak, because the truth was still cooking, still forming, still finding the words it needed. But then came the moments that made that truth heavier. The dinners where Erika answered questions without answering them. The conversations where she smiled with her mouth, but not her eyes. The way she'd shift her attention back to her phone, even if just for a second, every time Charlie opened up about something real. The way she'd compliment the home, but never ask about the family history woven into its walls. She existed at the surface of every moment, never stepping into the depth where connection actually lives. And Charlie's parents, they could feel that absence like a cold draft under a door. You can seal the windows, you can draw the curtains, but you still know when the cold is there. Then came the night that changed everything, not in a dramatic explosion, but in one of those quiet shifts only the heart can measure. A soft-spoken evening, light rain outside, the kind of night that feels like a confession waiting to happen. Charlie had brought Erika over again, and they were all sitting in the living room. The fireplace was lit, flickering, painting the room in that warm amber glow, the kind that reveals the truth in a person's face whether they want it seen or not. Charlie's father asked her about her dreams, not the surface ones, not the polite ones, but the soul ones, the ones that reveal who you are behind the curtain. And Erika answered with words that sounded practiced, polished, rehearsed. They floated in the air like pretty little feathers, colorful but weightless. And that's when Charlie's mother saw it. That tiny flicker of emptiness that lived just behind Erika's smile, like she was afraid to let her real dreams breathe because she didn't know if they'd survive the air. After they left that night, the house didn't just feel quiet, it felt hollow. And hollow is a dangerous kind of silence. Charlie's parents sat there for a long time. No arguing, no panic, no anger. Just two hearts beaten beside each other in the stillness, knowing what they knew, but not wanting to say it, because a parent doesn't want to be the one to cast a shadow over their child's hope. But sometimes hope needs a shadow, so you can see the shape of the light. So they watched, not judging, just watching. And the more they watched, the more they saw the pattern sinking in. Erika avoided discussions that mattered. She withdrew when feelings came up. She never leaned forward, never reached back, never grabbed the emotional rope Charlie kept throwing her way. She always kept one foot out the door, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually, in ways parents can't ignore. And then came the night when the truth finally bloomed. Charlie came home late, shoulders low, eyes dimmed, the glow he once carried flickering like a candle in the final inch of wax. He didn't say much at first, just sat there with his parents, breathing heavy in a way that said his heart was tired, not broken, just tired. And in that moment, his parents knew the truth had already found him. That's when they finally spoke, not to expose, not to accuse, not to condemn, but to release the pressure sitting in the room. They told him they never felt connected to Erika, never felt her step fully into the family's space, never felt her heart warm in the way someone truly present warms a room. They told him she lived in a distance they couldn't cross, a silence they couldn't interpret, a world they couldn't access. And as they spoke, Charlie didn't argue. He didn't defend. He didn't shut down. He just breathed deeper and deeper because deep down he'd felt it too. He just didn't want to name it alone. The truth didn't break him, it freed him. Freed him from trying to carry a connection that wasn't built to hold weight. Freed him from trying to bridge a gap that wasn't meant to be crossed. Freed him from the ache of giving more than he received. And when the truth finally settled, it didn't land with a crash. It landed like a feather, soft and inevitable. And that's the thing about parental intuition. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't demand, it reveals. It doesn't push you away from someone, it guides you back to yourself. And that night, as the house breathed out the pressure and settled into peace, Charlie finally felt something he hadn't felt in months. He felt himself again. And before I go, lean in for a second, because if you're still here listening, feeling this story unfold in the same quiet way truths unfold in real life, then you're my kind of listener. So go on and hit that subscribe button for more stories just like this, warm, deep, real, and steady. I'll see you in the next one.